you're actually like a really productive, nice, positive person. But I found out that you also attend detractor chats. What's up with that? I'm gonna put you on the spot. Let's see what you have to say. Because when you're in here, you say useful stuff, and I read out your messages and everything, and everyone's like, ah, you know, you contribute positively. But then I find out that you're doing like nasty stuff on the back end. What's up with that, dude? I'll put you on the spot. You got to answer right now. Let's hear it. Let's hear your answer. Everyone's like, oh shit. Good Lord. I played both sides of the fence. You can't both like me and hate me. It doesn't work that way. That's not how life works. You can't do both. I don't get it, man. Anyway.
We do here. Let's go back.
Haters and detractors versus everybody else. Whose side are you on? Good afternoon, good morning, good evening. This is DSP News. Ladies and gentlemen, we're here today with someone who hasn't actually been on the channel. His name is Mundane Matt. If you do not know who he is, he talks about a variety of things in the news, politics. He's actually really interesting to listen to be honest with you. He makes he brings up some pretty good points. Yeah, a lot of common sense and critical thinking. He seems to be a nice guy. And he just actually reached 100,000 subscribers. So congratulations to him. But ladies and gentlemen, he made an interesting video yesterday. I'm recording, or not yesterday, but on the 29th. I apologize. I'm recording this on the 31st. He made a video saying why I pity DarkSydePhil. Wow. Apparently Phil's name is starting to really get around. Well, with this being said, he lays down some pretty interesting points and even offers to help Phil in person for free. It's some pretty good advice. Ladies and gentlemen, we're just going to go ahead and get into that. I'd just like to hear what you guys think about it. I don't really have anything too much to say. If I do, I'll wait till the end of the video. And yeah, should be interesting. Ladies and gentlemen, this is DSP News. Always late, never breaking, unreliable coverage that you can't count on. Ever. A GTG Network and Productions. You guys know the slogan. Let's go ahead and get into it.
No, like I pity DarkSydePhil quite a lot, and it has to do predominantly with the fact that I don't think Phil is a bad guy per se. I think Phil got himself in a situation where he doesn't know an exit strategy and he is holding on for dear life. Now, I watched that the full 3 hours of whatever you want to call it, you know, top 10 fails of 2017 DSP, or whatever it was. I watched that whole thing, and by the end, I was just like sad, right? Because you can see like he just doesn't he doesn't get it, you know. And the thing you have to understand about Phil is ultimately it kind of boils down to this. Okay, like I think we have to go back, to be honest with you, to understand DarkSydePhil, and people always kind of attack him on a personal level, and I'm not wanting to attack him on a personal level. I'm looking at this from more of like what I can perceive as being a business thing, right? As a business level for him. So as a result of all that, essentially what it boils down to is Phil got his start at a time when Let's Plays were not as big as they are. And he probably felt an inflated ego as a result of that. You know, he had his third place or fourth place at Evo, I think fourth place or whatever, for Street Fighter. You know, and he had that title for a year. You know, oh, I'm the #1 player in the United States, which technically wasn't a lie. So he's got that. And then he's got, you know, he's got his channel. He's doing all that kind of stuff. He's pumping out video after video after video, recording the gameplay off the camera and shit, or pointing his camera at the screen. And it worked for him for a while. But then other people started to surpass him, not only in editing, but in capturing. And they started, you know, doing things better than him. And I think that there was a push. I think there was this, like, internal conflict about the loss, the potential loss. And I've been there myself. There's been, not lately, but in the early days, I would have a topic or whatever that would do really, really, really well. And I would basically keep pushing out that content. But then you get to the law of diminishing returns, and I think that's what happens with Phil for the most part, actually. I think that's what happens to him for the most part, is he gets that law of diminishing returns. And then when when there's that subconscious realization, or maybe even conscious realization, that he's losing out on everything, it becomes that fear, that push to keep surviving. The survival instincts kick in. And his survival instincts, I think, in this day and age, have a lot to do with going to the fan base and asking the fans, please, 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 love me, please help me, please give me this, you know. And I'm not going to say, like, I've never done anything similar. It's, you know, I had my cat needed surgery a few months ago, and I asked for help, and people gave help. People are generous, and they're kind, and they're giving, and I think that's what's keeping Phil afloat. But at the same time, Phil doesn't pay attention to those people that truly do like him. He pays attention to the haters, the sons of Kojima, for Christ's sake. The people that, you know, this is how you don't play. When ultimately, like, the thing is he should have benefited off of that completely. This is how you don't play, right? Like, he should have benefited off of that by, like, making that a thing. He should have taken that shtick and made it his own. He should have taken all of his streams, and he tried this with KO Gaming, but he did the exact opposite. People like him because they can laugh at him, and that's one of the things that gets him mad, is that they're not taking him seriously. But if you want to take them seriously, or you want them to take you seriously, or you want them to stop doing it, you have to then take that meme and make it your own. I'll be honest with you. When the turn off that pesky ad block thing started happening, it got a little bit frustrating at first. I was a little bit frustrated. I was like, son of a bitch, because it was like every comment I made, it was everywhere, right? And then after a while, I said, fuck it, I'm taking it, I'm making it mine, and I'm totally fine with it. At this point now, I love that meme. I've literally been asked in person to say it. So when you're asked in person to say it, it's funnier, ultimately. And so when DSP is in the situation, he should have taken "This is how you don't play," made it his own, and then gone from there. And it would have squashed that entire subgenre on YouTube, that cottage industry on YouTube, because it's a cottage industry. In that essence, Phil is a whale, and those people are you know, they're attaching their barnacles to him. They're feeding off of what he puts out there because they can do it and it's working. And then he doesn't understand that. He doesn't get that. So he feels that it's everyone who's against him. Instead of taking a moment and really laughing at himself, he thinks it's all an attack, so he gets defensive, right? And when you get defensive like that, you're not thinking straight. You're not thinking proper business strategy. You're not thinking proactively. And so it's turned into this kind of campaigning for pity. And so I do pity him. And I watched like a bunch of takedown videos of DSP over the course of the last week, because you know how it is, you watch one video and then all of a sudden your recommendations are flooded with those. And so I just was listening to a bunch of them, and everyone's like, you know, one guy's like, "You're not a man, you're a child, you're a horrible piece of shit, degenerate motherfucker. I hope you fucking get your dick chopped off," or something like these attacks on this guy. And I'm like, first and foremost, you catch way more flies with honey than you do with vinegar. So calm your tits, okay? No one's fucking perfect. Phil has worked himself, he's backed himself into this corner. Is it impossible for him to get out of it? No, of course not. He could probably easily devise a plan to minimize his particular situation and minimize the damage that's being levied at him, and he could find a way to probably turn things around. It would take some time, it takes some patience. You know, I mean, to an extent, even kind of Medicare defended him with that catfish video at the end, saying like he wasn't catfish. He was, you know, he was just, there were people that were trying to play this thing out, you know, trying to fuck with him and shit. And that's a big thing. It's like, so Phil, like, his girlfriend left him. People said he was hiring an escort, like all these things. And he's saying, no, it didn't happen. And then, but the thing is, no one believed it. Because he's also, been that type of person before where he gets super defensive. And so you don't generally believe what he has to say. It's one of the, I just, I have to just kind of laugh at that as a result. Because I don't hate DarkSydePhil. I respect him for what he's created, to be honest with you, because think about it, right? Not everyone gets to do this as a job. I think more people could than not, to be honest with you. But at the same time, you've got this situation where he's been fortunate and he's kind of fucked it up a bit, and he needs to not fuck it up and to stop fucking it up. And he could do that if he would just pull his head out of his ass and start approaching things from a business first perspective, right? Like, he needs a fucking life coach. He needs like a YouTube business life coach to come in and sit him down and go, stop it, like, just stop doing what you're doing. And I think if he didn't react the way he blocked me on Twitter for making a stupid joke, not even the freaking masturbation thing, right? Like, just something else entirely, and he ended up blocking me on Twitter. Why? I've never done anything, like, I made a quick joke at his expense, like, but that's how he is. That's how he reacts. And that's only going to end up hurting him in the long run. It's again, the law of diminishing returns. So he needs to change. The thing is, when it comes to YouTube, if you want to succeed, it requires you to change things up. It requires you to adapt. It requires you to evolve. And if you don't do that, I mean, look at where I started, talking into my iPhone, recording the audio only, to where I'm got a 4K Panasonic camera plugged into my computer, broadcasting to you guys live in 720p, because let's face it, you can't get anything better out of YouTube right now. But ultimately, it's like evolving, it's adapting, right? Like, you have to. Phil needs to do that, and that's the only advice. I mean, like, seriously, okay, he lives in Seattle, I'm south of Seattle. If Phil wanted me to, no, I'm not kidding you. If Phil wanted me to drive to Seattle, to have lunch with him, and to go over an actual battle plan for his channel, I would fucking do it for free. I would. I honest to God would. And I would do it for free because, for one, I feel everyone deserves a break. And I feel like Phil is not the worst person on the planet. He's done some shitty things, nothing he can't come back from. But he has to realize that things have to change, and the first person to initiate that change is him.
Well, there you go. As you can tell, Mundane Matt doesn't have all of Phil's lore. It's kind of hard to dig through the muck that is DSP. But what did you guys think about what his overview was, what he thought about the situation, and what he needs to do to change? What did you guys think about him offering his help to, since they both live in the same state, to actually come out there, meet Phil for lunch, and actually try to work things out? And the fact of, not between them, because there is no beef between them, except for he blocked him on Twitter. Wah, 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 wah. But, actually trying to help Phil with his channel. Or is it even worth it at this point? Phil is a streamer now. YouTube's not a thing that he's worried about. Though he still continues to complain about news. Right, Kenny? Right, Kevin? Still complains about views? Yeah, he still complains about views. It's a fickle type situation. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'll just wait for your comments down below. Tell me what you guys think. Shouts out to Mundane Matt. Like I said, go and check out his channel. It's actually a pretty good channel. I think that was actually on his second channel, where he does a lot of his live streaming now. So I'll link the video in the description too, if I remember to. You know how I do about stuff like that. And yeah, ladies and gentlemen, this was DSP News. Always late, never breaking, unreliable coverage that you can't count on. A GTG Network and Productions. Somewhere, there are people who still believe in Phil. The problem is, ladies and gentlemen, they just haven't been in the trenches long enough to know. The war still rages. The truth is all. The olive branch has been broken, and the war continues. Ladies and gentlemen, it's required that we all remain warriors and soldiers until the war is won. GTG signing off in the broadcast. Oh, I really should play Boondocks at the end of this. This should be godlike. Yeah.